Well, howdy guys, welcome back to the city. I'm Imperial Jedi. Thanks for stopping by for another episode, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of high-density expansion, because our city, we need to get it a little bit bigger before we start introducing some new forms of public transit. So we've actually been unlocking a few tiles. We haven't bought them yet though, so let's go ahead and do that right now. I kind of envision us doing a little bit of a high-density kind of setup over on this island over here. And I think we're going to kind of make use of the highway. We'll add kind of a collector and express kind of lane as our little starting point. But in general, with high density, I'll just kind of drop some tips in as I go along. You just want to be planning a little bit more for traffic. As you'll notice, it's, these buildings, they hold quite a few people, so just be ready for it. So we're going to use some 6-lane roads here. We're going to do some tricks to kind of force traffic to kind of stick towards the bigger roads, not really use side streets to kind of navigate our soon-to-be-built neighborhood. But my game plan is just to basically build us a really big high-density neighborhood over here, and hopefully I can give you guys some inspiration. I'll go over my thought process as to why I'm doing certain things, and then, yeah, hopefully that kind of helps out. So we'll just turn on our one-way arrows here, but what I'm doing is adding a collector lane system to our highway. And then this is where you're going to get on and off. So if you're going straight on through, you're not stopping here, yes, stick to the express. So I have no idea why that guy just went this way. Who knows? Why not? Game mechanics are kind of funny. But the logic here is if there is some backup happening, it's not going to affect the express lanes. So we're still going to have goods and services and everything kind of moving in between the two areas. If you got to get to work over here, you still can make it too. Okay, so super simple. Now, what I'm looking for is basically roads that run kind of in the same straight lines as this. I want to have the same kind of symmetry. So the easiest way to achieve that is we're going to draw a bridge over from here to here, and then that way everything's nice and lined up. And just kind of planning ahead, you can kind of see this dashed yellow line right here. That's for our harbors, like our shipping. So if we wanted to, like our plan was to kind of move our industry up and around here. I think we'll have to move it, or not move it, we'll have to have our harbor piece up here, but if we can probably, hopefully knock on wood, we can maybe connect this and be close enough to attach to this shipping lane. If not, we'll have to move our industry across the river, but that's, that's for later. But just, keep an eye on your own shipping lanes, that kind of stuff. So my thought for that is now we need to make a bridge that goes up and over and has enough clearance for a boat to go through. And I kind of already want to use this street here. You can kind of see it's a nice straight line going the whole way through. I think we're going to upgrade a little bit right here to make it wider, just to accommodate a little bit more traffic, but actually we can probably upgrade it to trams as well. Okay, so upgrading that part. And then let's upgrade over here for the wider, like that. And then now that we're going to get a little bit more traffic through here, I think we're actually going to take out these little inner streets. And then if we wanted to, these are the areas we could switch over to high density. And then on the roads right here, you'll notice that the icons for the transportation are kind of popping up. They're going to just refine their path, like don't worry about that. It's just whenever you kind of change roads that are pretty close, I think the game just wants to kind of just double check the route, so it just does that for you. So we're going to go ahead and just change this over to high density. Still a pretty good use of the space, so we're not really losing too much. And then as an added bonus, we are of course getting more people living here. So we don't want to do too much high density zoning, because this area, it really wasn't planned necessarily for that. This was kind of made for like lower density, a little bit mixed use kind of in mind. You'll kind of see how this one will look a bit different. Okay, so we'll let that kind of build, get the population going up. And so we need ourselves a bridge, and it's got to be tall. So let's go up to 15, and let's go out again 12, and let's go up to, say, 21. Actually, probably 18 is probably good. That looks like a good slope anyhow. So we'll go across, and now we're going to go back down. What was that, 15, I think? Was it 15? I don't remember now. Whenever you're unsure, you can just double check. Yeah, it was 15. 15 to 18, 18. Oh, okay. Yep. We are good. Now, it looks like this side of the bank. That does look a little bit steep, a little bit lower. So we're going to have to be creative and maybe extend this a little bit further. So that's totally fine. So let's bring that down to say 6 and then do another 12 length to get that back. Oh yeah, that looks much nicer. And that should be tall enough to accommodate a boat or two. I mean, worst case they clip through, but we want to have a little bit of realism whenever possible. Okay, so now we've got roads that are going to be symmetrically lined up with this part of the city. So that's kind of what we were after. So we're going to switch to our 6-lane road. And we're going to make that the first essentially... Oh, actually, no, we want to be a little bit further. I lied. So what I'm trying to do right now, sorry, is just find a nice even spot in the pillars. There we go. That we can break our road through. And I was going to say, we want this to be one of the first ways to kind of break traffic off this avenue, but we're actually changing that a little bit. So instead what we're going to do is go like this. And we want this to line up. So why don't we go like that? And then this can connect right here. And all I'm trying to do is just build us a basic kind of box shape that we can do some fun little interior kind of neighborhoods and streets. We want the bulk of the traffic that's going, you know, up and down all around this island just to be using the 6-lane roads whenever possible. And then public transit, obviously you're going to use this because they're stuck to the tram tracks. Okay, so let's go up like that as well. Now before I draw this, I'm going to double check here. I want this to be an even number. So 64 units, that's perfect. So if we do decide to do something in here, like maybe split this in half, do a roundabout, symmetrically that means it's still going to work. So that's pretty convenient and just something that, trust me, like keep an eye on, otherwise it'll drive you kind of crazy. Okay, so we want our trams to make their way through, but we're doing our highway on and off ramps here, so we don't want the intersections to be too close. So we'll keep the 6 lanes going. Because we're going to save the trains and everything for another episode, we're just going to stop at this point, and we'll figure that out afterwards. But we do want some trams to go through, so we're going to go like this at a 90-degree angle. There we go. And then maybe this can be actually a tunnel. We can't quite make it underneath there. We don't have... Yeah, well, I think it's more the pillars versus the room, but either way. So we can just go like this. And then that will just connect with this. There we go. Nice little scenic tram route as well. That's pretty cool. And we may have gone one too many tiles. Like, if this kind of stuff really does bug you, it's so easy to fix it. So, no problem. Here's how we would do it. We count what we have right now. Looks like 10 units. We need to drop it by 1. So let's go bada bing, bada boom, 9. And then that's now 13, so that doesn't help us. So that now has to be erased a little bit. Otherwise we won't have the correct spacing. So go back to ground level. And there we go. We're a winner. Arguably we could have done 2 units, but I don't think it really matters. Okay. And same idea. We're going to use the lay of the land here to kind of almost tell us what direction to go. And we're going to try and find a spot that we can make our way through with the pillars kind of cooperating in our favor. Don't really need those extra roads there. Get rid of that. Okay, so let's go down like this, out like that. That works for me. I think that looks kind of cool. Nice. And then what we were saying about maybe cutting this in half. So that means we need to be 32, 32. That's probably about here. Oh, 33. Oh, no. Off by 1. Okay, so I think that's it right there. Oh, did I just do the same? Oh, darn it. Okay. There we go, 32, 32. If you can't eyeball it or you're having trouble just like me, you can always, you know, space yourself out or just kind of count and just do something a little bit more efficient than what I was doing, I guess. Mine's more of a trial and error approach. So I'm looking to make a nice big kind of central roundabout right here. Make this feel like almost like it's the center part of this little town / island. And I think we'll do a big roundabout with the trams going around it. So we'll do a 12 by 12. It's a really decent size, I think. There we go. Almost lost that. And then inside of here, I want to do like a custom park, that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking of maybe doing an episode, maybe after this, where we do just some custom decorating, like just kind of make ourselves some custom parks, you know, this and that. Oh, you know, I totally forgot. The highway connections have to go through there, so that won't work as a plan. So let me show you guys a really simple way of getting the pillars to kind of work in our favor, if you're not using a traffic mod. Because we could obviously turn the pillars off, right? So we'll make our road go through first, after we've deleted the highway here, and then just reconnect the highway. It literally is just that simple. And then just you can kind of see we have to maybe have our little snap point be close to the road right there, but that's fine. So that doesn't work, so we just change the direction a little bit. Ooh, okay, right there we're a little bit crooked. So maybe we'll keep that in mind. We'll turn off our little snappers right there. There we go. Yeah, that's not so bad. Okay. Now we'll reconnect some more tram roads here. And you can kind of see the idea is to get a lot of people using public transportation. So not bad, nice big box shape. It's pretty even Steven, which is cool too. So symmetrically it looks nice. And then now we have these big open kind of squares, and then we have like so much freedom to do essentially whatever we want. They don't have to be a mirror image of each other, which is also cool. Make that come down. So like, for example, we can have a tram route kind of cut through here and just do its own thing. So let me just show you what I mean by that. We'll just have some fun with this. So you can kind of see one way breaking off like that. And this way we can do little tram routes that kind of fall back on themselves. We're leaving ourselves, you know, the option to kind of mix things up. And then just to get things going in different directions, let's just start curving. Who says we have to do straight roads all the time? And then from here, maybe we can build maybe like a straight road network around it or something. So maybe that can go up. That can go across. Like, who knows, right? Whatever you want. Just kind of changes the shape. And especially with high density, you don't necessarily want all the buildings pointing, you know, the same direction, because it looks a little bit, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it looks a little bit just concrete jungle. You get kind of lost in that feeling. Now I try to keep about 10 units or so for the spacing in between my intersections, just in case you guys are wondering. I had a few questions in the comment section about that. Alright, and then, you know, same idea over here. We're trying to get things not necessarily going straight. I think we're going to actually put in the highway connections now, just so we don't have to worry about getting in the way of those anymore. Okay, so super simple. So you go out. If you want to get the symmetry approach, we can upgrade the roads after, but just use, you know, one-way roads that are like this, right? So let's say go out by 8 on each side. We're 2 units away. Just for a little bit of symmetry. And then we'll curve this up, but so that it's all, you know, the same kind of connected ramp. We don't have the terraforming aspect happening and the ground kind of split and everything looking all weird. So we'll change the directions after, and we'll upgrade the road right after. This is a very simple interchange, but it's all we essentially need. Okay, so those directions work for me. We're going to now switch over to a 2-lane highway tool. And what I'm going to have is 2 lanes leaving, 1 lane going on. I think that makes a little bit more sense. And then we'll monitor traffic, so we can always expand on the lanes. Because I think the first entrance, I think this one here is actually going to be a little bit busy. So you know what, with that in mind, actually, I think we're going to space the collector lane a little bit further down, just to give us some more room for cars to kind of back up. I kind of foresee that being a little bit of an issue. Okay, so that's our snap point. It's a little bit of a tight turn, but I think we're still okay. Alright, that works for me. So let's do more or less the same kind of thing over here. Just again, for that, you know, symmetrical look. We need 2 units. in, we're going out by 8. I mean, and really the name of the game when it comes to high density is just traffic. If you manage that, everything will be great. But if you can get more people not to be in a car, I mean, that's like, it's 2 birds, 1 stone kind of thing. So we're going to do a lot of walking pathways. We're going to encourage people to use transit, just that kind of stuff. And then when the city gets a little bit more established, that's when we'll start doing things like bike lanes. We can do like basically a bike autobahn kind of network, have like a bike highway kind of system running through the whole city. We can even do some elevated bike lanes. We have like so many options here. So same idea as before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change our roads here so that there are 2 lanes leaving, and then it's 1 lane going on. There we go. And then I think this one is going to be an issue, so I'm actually going to change this over to a 4-lane highway piece right here. So I just have that as part of my my mod thing. And you can kind of see here, much more turning options. So they split, it gives a little bit more room for people to queue, so I think that should be efficient. Okay, so let's get back to doing some more just general road layout through here. I think I'm going to switch to roads that have some trees on them. And again, just kind of keeping with that spacing rules. Maybe we can do 14 units. That's pretty good. And then we don't have to connect the same way, just to kind of mix things up. See, this is close. It's 8 units, but because it's a roundabout, I think we're safe. And then what we could do is make that into a 1-way like this. And that can break away, say like that. And that way, no traffic light. We still get, you know, spacing here, decent spacing there. And what we could even do is maybe upgrade, say like that. But because I still want a tree, I'd go like this. There's some trees, I mean. Not a tree, but multiple trees. Oh, what a bonus that is. And so same idea, because we're a little bit close here, we're less than those 10 units, what I'm going to do instead is have a 1-way exiting like this, and a 1-way entering like this. Just like that. And then you know what we could do is maybe widen this if we have the room, which we do, just make things look a little bit different and cool. Maybe we can do this even. Yeah, I like that actually. There we go, that's kind of nice. I quite like that. Okay, so just gonna do the same kind of idea over here. Just give ourselves some areas for zoning, take advantage of these center squares not being used. And you kind of see, I'm just trying to do some spacing, doesn't have to be perfect. Like, you don't have to follow every single rule to a T. Just most of them are there as there. Sorry, there is just kind of guidelines. I can speak sometimes. And so same idea, we don't want the traffic light, so we're going to switch this over to 1-ways. There we go. It's kind of neat, right? And you kind of see there's a little bit of symmetry, because it's still the general same shape, but now, because we're mixing what's going on inside all up, it looks kind of cool, I think. And then we can intentionally leave a few of these a little bit wide open, and then that way we'll have some space if we wanted to do, say, like a central park, or just something like that. And if you wanted to, just to make things kind of fun and different, you know, add some Y intersections, just mix up the side streets a bit. And if you wanted to, you could always make these like alternating 1-ways. So you can have, say, like 1-way corridors going through some of your residential parts. So say, for example, we wanted to make that a 1-way the whole way down, and that just, again, for the traffic light. But we need a corresponding one going the other way, just to kind of be the offset for traffic, if that makes any sense. And so now we're going to cut through here, maybe change the direction a little bit. Don't think we're going to be able to cut through there, so we'll just give that up. You can kind of see, just making things a little bit different. This is now a wider road, getting more traffic, so we're going to anticipate more traffic, maybe make that wider as well. There, and that visually, I think, flows a little bit better too. That's kind of cool. And maybe over on this end, we can mix things up, and we can do 4-lane avenues here that have that kind of grassy knoll. Oops. That's 16 and 17. That's not so bad. There, just, you know, that kind of just looks nice and mixes things up. And then, you know, just go like this. Whatever we want. Be very liberal. You can kind of see now we're taking pretty good advantage, I think, of the internal shapes. We have some room to do some bigger assets, some custom parks, that kind of stuff. So we'll still leave these open, like I was saying before. And like here, for example, I think we have some room to sneak another. Look at that. So just, you know, look for that kind of stuff. And then, you know, one-way roads. Don't be afraid to use them, that kind of stuff too. That works as well right there. There we go. Kind of fun stuff. And then maybe we can even get another road through here. Probably not. If you look and you see that the pillars aren't too much in the way, you can always go like this and turn on your no collision. And just connect. And you can kind of see we got one pillar going through the road, so maybe that wasn't the best path. So the cars themselves, I believe, are going to clip right through it, which looks kind of silly, but the option, it is there in case you guys want it. So I think we're just going to connect like that. It's a little bit of a safer route, I think. There we go. Kind of fun. And then over here, same idea. Just take a little bit more advantage of some of these squares. Okay, so I think that's all right for the moment. Let's start our zoning, and then we'll put in our services as we're zoning. And then it's my intention to grow the city to about double the size or so that it is now, and I'm going to do most of that off camera. I'll kind of show you guys the before and after like I did in the last episode, but I want to get the city, yeah, much bigger before we start introducing like rail lines and that kind of stuff. And what I'm going to do in the next episode is actually we're going to make ourselves a central transportation hub. So it's going to be kind of where all of our transport lines kind of link through, like the metro, the rails, our subways, our buses, basically everything. And we'll have a lot of walking paths kind of converge on there too. So it should be pretty fun, pretty popular place. And I think they're pretty pivotal. I mean, most cities have one too, so. Okay, so let's do some zoning. So I want to have some mixed use happening over here. So I want people to be able to work over here as well as, you know, live and shop. So we'll do some offices. And then offices, commercial, the two of them, they don't really mind being next to anywhere loud. So the areas that straddle the highway, prime real estate for offices and commercial. So let's put those guys in there. So they don't mind. And they also act as a great sound barrier. So you can kind of have offices in between whatever is noisy and then where your people live, which is kind of what we're going to do right here. And just so we're not doing all offices, we're going to make some of it. And so whenever we do, an anarchy road, it changes the tiles, right? So just be aware of that. So we only want to zone on the tiles that are kind of, you know, helping us right now. We don't want to go over the roads or anything. So maybe we can get some shopping in here, just close to the highway. Some shopping over here as well. And then because this area is going to be pretty noisy, I think we're going to drop a recycling center in over here. Just take advantage of that fact. And because this is close to the rails, I'm actually going to do commercial the whole way down like that. Okay, so now what I'm looking for is just a recycling center. This is something I've downloaded. Pretty handy. Good for dealing with high volumes, and it doesn't pollute, which is the best thing ever. So we'll keep that right there. Perfect. And that should be ample coverage. Okay. Alright, so this spot is for our residents. And we'll keep an eye on noise. We can always change things around if we need to. Maybe go like that. And just so that things aren't too up in the sky, let's do some lower density zoning as well. That I'll have a tendency to do on my outermost streets, or the ones that kind of just are the, you know, at the river's edge, like that kind of stuff. And then we'll maybe tier a little bit upward as we go. And that's not to say that we can't do little internal pockets here. I have to say some smaller houses, because it's nice to get away. You don't really want just everything to be tall. That's why it's nice to put in plazas and parks and this and that. Parking lots too even, just nice to have some open spots. So I am zoning on the outskirts of this roundabout. If it does prove to be disastrous, we can always change it. Don't want to miss that one tile, there we go. Perfect. And then we'll press play as we're putting in some of the services, because I imagine our demand is going to just drop right off the map after we do all of this. And so we're going to have to make this area look a little bit more attractive in order to kind of get more people living here. So let's switch back over to some lower density. That'll be kind of nice, I think, to some houses here. And then we can make one little inner path like this. Say back and just go. And then we'll turn off the traffic lights, because this is just for like regional traffic. Because of how low the speed limits are, I don't think anyone's even gonna try and use this as a bypass. And if they do, so what? Okay, so just a little bit of that internal zoning. That looks kind of cool too, having that style of road. Alright, so back to the high density grind. And the reason why I haven't pressed play just yet is because like our power is not going to be connected, everything's going to be. So I want like the zoning to kind of hopefully move as as basically acting as power lines instead of us having to draw them in. And so these areas, we're probably going to put parks or something in the center. We just won't really do that yet. I think we're going to save that for just a different episode. A little bit of towers going through here for offices. And just kind of mixing it up again. And then I'm probably going to have to change some of these zoning squares around. So maybe this residential will become commercial, that kind of stuff. Just depends on once the demand kind of levels out a little bit. We'll see where everything is. Okay. And so this we know is going to be a big central park, so we'll just leave that like that. And we'll put in some more rocks too. Alright, just filling this in. And we'll make one of these commercial. That way these people here don't have to go too far in order to do some shopping. And, that way also that helps with traffic, right? So maybe we can actually make this right here into commercial as well. Okay, cool. Is that essentially everyone? I think so, right? Oh, we just missed a few spots over here. And so maybe this can also be just some houses. And then commercial for the sake of the noise aspect. These are noise makers themselves, but they don't really make as much noise as per se the highway. Which is why you can put some residents next to, not too much commercial, but some commercial. But definitely I wouldn't put them next to the highway. They're going to be constantly complaining about the noise pollution. They'll be getting sick. You'll see the icon. Just strains your public services. You don't really need that. Okay, so that is that zoned up. That's awesome. Let's put it on 3-speed now. And we should see this just essentially evaporate away, which is no problem. Kind of what we want. But that's not to say that we won't be able to get people to move in once this kind of goes away. Because if we make this area really attractive and people, make it really livable, people are going to move in, they're going to want jobs, so that'll start, creating a little bit of demand. And then from there, those areas are going to need somewhere to sell their goods, so there'll be commercial demand in that sense. And then people are going to want to shop, so that kind of helps the commercial cycle kind of complete. So we can basically artificially create a non-stop cycle of demand. So when you hear people say that the RCI doesn't work, or you need mods or anything, I don't really think so. I think it's just a little bit more of a challenge as as the mayor, to kind of make things more fun and livable, right? So like public transit, parks, that kind of stuff. Just beef up the area, get the land value higher. People will be like, oh, I want to live here. So that's kind of what we're going for. I don't really need to put pipes down here just yet, because we're not really going down there. We're leaving some of these places open in case we want to do maybe like a ferry terminal, or just like, some rail or something. Okay, now most of the power should kind of spread on its own. It looks like the areas are kind of growing a little bit unevenly, which is totally no problem. I'm going to put in some more services and parks. Hopefully that'll kind of connect the dots a bit better. Okay, so we haven't used any, actually I don't think we've unlocked them yet, of the crematoriums. But I have some downloaded. We unlocked them at 12,000, so we might as well put them in now. I put them like essentially right next to my cemeteries, because they empty into each other. So might as well take advantage of that. Let's use a hospital we haven't used yet. I think this one here looks kind of nice. If we can find a suitable location, we can indeed. And will that fit behind it? Oh, delicious. Oh, I love that. So we'll do 2 fire stations, because we're going to need a lot of fire coverage up here. Okay, put that like that. And we'll do 2 police stations as well, by that same kind of logic. So that can go right there. That looks really neat. Maybe a small one over here. And then we'll need quite a few schools, because the high-density buildings, they hold quite a few citizens, so must take, you know, must educate them all, no problem. But just must be aware of that, that's all. Okay, so the schools. This is a cool one in corners, do that. We'll use the church as well, just to mix things up. Alright, now let's put in a couple high schools. I want to use some of my favorite assets. It's kind of American high school, I think is what it's called. Classic high school, perhaps, is what it is called in the workshop. Okay, so that can go right there. And I also like the look of this one. I think we'll need 2 high schools, realistically, for this area. And just put that over there. Perfect. Okay, so we got our healthcare, we got our death care, we've got our garbage, we got our water, got our fire, got the police. I think we got everything. Oh, we now have some parks. Okay, so some parks with some trees. Ooh, did that... Ooh, look at this. Oh my goodness, how do we get so lucky? Well, not 100% lucky. We're still off by 1 square, but easily fixed by going like this per se. Ooh, I like the way that looks too. Very nice. Again, that just kind of opens up some areas, makes things kind of feel not so claustrophobic. And what I like to do is make these kind of elaborate little setups with parking lots, because I think they're kind of fun to use. And you can find tons of them in the workshop. Like, they're so easy to find. And some of them are set already for after dark, so they're going to have you know, their own lighting and that kind of stuff. If you want, though, use the prop anarchy, download the more beautification, and you can just put some lights and that kind of stuff in on your own. So we know this is a nice big office park over here, so let's just do some parking lots as well. And the parking lots here, they double as parks, so they actually boost the land value, which is a double win. Maybe use some of these so we can fit them in. Neat. Nope, that doesn't quite fit, so nope. And I just, you know, like, don't be afraid to use lots of them. That kind of just go a little bit crazy. So we can now just put them on like 4 corners of the street. Because again, when this is all really, really tall buildings, it's just nice to be able to see through, you know, some of that and just enjoy the view. And so maybe these spots here, instead of letting these buildings come in as just a kind of a single cell one, maybe we can just replace them with roads. Or not roads, but little pathways here. Just like that. And if you wanted to, just for a different look, just, you know, maybe make them dirt instead. That looks kind of cool, I think. And so the power, unfortunately, has not made its way over. Oh wait, it just did. How about that? I spoke too soon. Oh, and we unfortunately missed 1 row. My mistake. Alright. But I think that's basically it, guys. I think we've gone over the basics. I think you kind of have the ideas in mind here. I'm just going to continue by putting a few more parks in just to kind of close out. So my plan is to do, like I said, an episode of just beautification, because that'll be kind of fun, I think. And we'll do some custom parks. We'll just kind of, you know, talk about the little things, the finer details, how to, you know, jazz up even like industrial areas, right? How to just make your city look a little bit nicer. And we'll use some mods for that, just kind of make things look a little bit more unique. And yeah, what I want to do though off camera is double the city size. And then I want to make our next episode is going to be us making a central transportation hub. And I haven't really picked out where. I'm thinking maybe in this big open spot right here, so we can maybe change this highway interchange, bring the highway up a little bit, plan around here, build ourselves a nice big central hub, have all of our transport lines kind of linked through there, and then the next episode will be us actually wiring all the transport lines up. I want to give you guys a little bit of helping hand with that. All right, so that's basically it, guys. Hope this is pretty helpful. There we go. Unlocked our crematoriums next. Ooh, city's house too. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful. If it was, definitely hit the like button and ask some questions. I'll definitely hopefully answer. And you guys at home too, if you want to help out too, take a look in the comments section. Lend a helping hand. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, we got a fun little community here. I know you guys are definitely pros of the game too, so help on out. All right, guys, that is it. I think we'll just kind of let this build right here, and I'll let this run. And it is still my intention to start uploading these to the workshop. I still have them all saved. I haven't overwritten anything yet. I just need like a little bit of time to kind of just set aside to do that. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much for the support, and I will talk to you later. And happy building. Hope these are helping. All right, take care, guys.